What's up, YouTube? So, I tried to get a apartment in Hertz, Texas, at least in that area, and it turns out I'm gonna get denied because I have a felony. So, what I'm understanding is in Hertz or in Texas in general, they could deny you for having a felony regardless of how long it's been. Now, you guys follow my channel, you know my journey with, being in federal prison. Um, it's been 13 years ago. I got convicted in 2011. I've been home since 2012. Been a model citizen ever since. So almost 14 years ago, I was convicted. Over 14 years ago, I was convicted, and yet I still cannot get an apartment in Texas. Now, here's what's funny. In that time period that I've been home since 2012, okay, I've had, I want to say, two apartments. One for about 3 years when I first came home. Then I went to my parents' house for a little bit, moved to LA. And in LA, I had an apartment from 2020 to 2025. No one brought up the felony then. No one cared about the felony. Um, it wasn't even in the application process, and they did a background check. See what I'm saying? So it's like, how you gonna tell me I can't get an apartment in your area, and I gotta go to the private owner? You know what I'm saying? When I got rental history, good rental history. See what I'm saying? Um, yeah, the lady, when I talked to the lady about it, and she said, yeah, as long as you got good credit or decent credit, you know, you got a job to pay for it, you got no evictions, and no felony. Like, my felony was over 10 years old. She said, well, tell you what, we'll go ahead and call the property company and we'll see what they say. We'll see what they say, and maybe we'll call you back. Never called me back. Never sent me the email. I called them 2 or 3 times. No answer. No answer. So you mean to tell me, even though I got a great record afterwards, I got a business. I'm gainfully employed. I still can't get an apartment in Texas? Really? Still? Like, how are y'all surviving out there in Texas, man? How y'all doing it? Because it seems like if you can't get your own place, you know what I'm saying, you got, you know, live off other people, you're going to go right back to jail at some point, you know? So I went online, did some research, and people were saying, yeah, you want to get a private owner or go to second chance housing. And I'm like, first of all, I'm too far, along to get second chance housing. I don't need second chance housing. I'm good. Okay, second chance housing for people who, they're returning from the halfway house, they're returning from a low, or state prison. Those people need second chance housing. I don't need second chance housing. I need a house. I can maintain my own house. Just need to get enough money to do so. So why do I gotta go do that? Or what they say was go find a private private owner. Here's a problem with private owners. At least so far, what I'm understanding. If I go to Texas and I ask a private owner, are they hired or do they have an apartment? Aren't they going to automatically assume I'm a convicted felon? Aren't they going to automatically assume I can't get a regular house, a regular apartment? And doesn't that mean that they're in control of everything? Like, I'm in a beggar situation. Why do I want to be in a beggar situation? Do I gotta pay a higher deposit? Do I gotta pay higher rent? See, I don't want to deal with that. The whole reason why I want to move to Texas is because it's cheaper. I can make the same amount of money with Grubhub in Texas as I do here in California, and just have a better quality of life, more money stacked up, make some more money, and not trip off nothing, and then I can probably at that point start dating, have a serious relationship. But I can't do that if I don't got my own place. I can't go out there and find some woman to live off of. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not. I'm just not that guy. So it's like, is the landlord going to jack up the rent? Is he gonna ask for extra deposit? Is he gonna ask me to do some favors? Is he gonna come by at 2 o'clock in the morning asking me to go move some cattle or some haystacks? It's simply because otherwise, what are they gonna do? You know. And I don't know this for a fact, but is it possible that the tenants have less rights than in California? I mean, sounds like that's a possibility. What I'm seeing so far. So I'm like, I don't know how I feel about moving to Texas based on that one conversation. Let me know down below if I should look at other places. But from the looks of things, it looks like it's too stressful to figure out Texas. And a lot of these landlords, the owners, the private owners, they're not really on Craigslist or anywhere else. You gotta drive around and find a little place in the ground, a little sign that says now renting. So I don't want to drive around town, a town I don't know very well, and hope that I find a private owner. You know what I mean? I want to go from California to Texas, and I know what I'm going to do. I know how it works. So instead, I'm going to look into Maryland, a little farther out, but I think you can go and get an apartment out there, and I'll make some phone calls. Sometime in about a week or so. I'm gonna give myself a break on this because I'm kind of stressed out about it. But I'm going to see what it's like to being out there in Maryland, what are the odds out there, being getting an apartment, and if I can get an apartment out there in Maryland, I think it's ready. I think that's a move. So, but let me know what you guys think down below.